Many years ago, in the beautiful town of Ibetu, there lived a young girl named Isni Awali. She was just 9 years old when her mother, she, died, and everything changed after that. Her father, Chief Adawale, was a wealthy businessman who loved his only child dearly, but barely 6 months after her mother's burial, he brought in a new woman, Iyabo, who claimed to be a widow with her daughter, Aden. Chief Adewale believed Iyabo would be a good mother to his daughter and that her daughter, Aden, would become a good sister to Isni. He did this because he didn't want his daughter to be lonely, as he was a busy man who traveled often. At first, when Iyabo came into their home, she was very nice to Isni. She would smile, touch her shoulder gently, and say things like, "You're such a sweet girl, and I promise I will take care of you. You won't even feel that your mother is gone." Iyabo would say this, pretending to be kind. But after a while, her true colors began to show. The minute Chief Adewale traveled for one of his long business trips and stayed away for weeks, her wickedness came out in full force. She would scream at Isni, saying, "Isni, isn't it? What are you still doing in bed at this time? Come on, wake up. Go and wash the dirty dishes. Go and sweep the compound. Make yourself useful. Scrub the toilets. Useless girl." Iyabo would shout wickedly at Isni. And that was just the beginning. Isni turned into a housemaid in her own father's house. Meanwhile, Iyabo's own daughter, Adan, from a previous marriage, did nothing. She never lifted a finger to wash a single spoon. Instead, it was Isni who cleaned, swept, cooked food, ironed everybody's clothes, and did all this before leaving for school every morning. As for her father, Chief Adewale, he was too busy traveling around the world, signing contracts, and attending meetings to notice what his daughter was going through. Isni was always sad. She was often in tears and began to miss her mother even more. Things continued like this for several years. She tried to speak to her father once about her stepmother's attitude toward her, but he simply waved it off. He didn't believe her because Iyabo always pretended to love and care for Isni in his presence. He thought his daughter was just being mischievous, so Isni gave up speaking to her father and continued to suffer in silence. A few years later, Isni had grown into a beautiful, tall, graceful, soft-spoken, and smart young lady. Soon enough, rich suitors started showing up for her men with clean shoes, tinted cars, and perfumes that announced their presence before they stepped into a place. Wealthy men, odoriferous men with pounds and dollars, were the kind of men coming for her. But these men never lasted because every time a serious suitor came to ask for Isni's hand in marriage, her stepmother would call them aside and poison their minds against her, destroying the relationship. She would say to the men, "My dear, let me advise you as a mother. I know what I'm doing might seem wrong, but I'm looking at you as though you were my son. You see this Isni? All the men in our neighborhood know the color of her underwear. It's even a surprise she's not yet pregnant. I'm not surprised, though, because I'm sure she's busy aborting her children one after another. I just thought I should tell you so that when you get married and start looking for children, you don't say nobody warned you. I'm warning you now. If you want to go ahead, fine, but at least know the kind of person you're marrying. That girl is wayward, stubborn, wild. She has aborted all the children in her womb. She won't be able to give you children. The only thing she has to her name right now is a pretty face and her slender body." Iyabo would say this spitefully, and then these men would disappear like smoke. Isni, on the other hand, was always worried and sad. She would call these men, only to realize they had blocked her. She was getting so worried, not knowing what she was doing wrong, because the last time she spoke with her boyfriend, they were fine. And suddenly they stopped picking up her calls and blocked her on every social media platform. Things continued like this for a long time. More than 12 wealthy suitors had come to the house to see her father and ended up not coming back. Isni was broken. Then she began to notice a pattern. These men only left her after visiting her father. It dawned on her that her stepmother could be responsible for all the suitors leaving her. So she decided that the next time she entered a relationship, she would hide it from her stepmother to prevent her from ruining it. One Sunday morning, something changed. Isni had just finished singing in church when she met a young, handsome man named Chuka. Chuka was tall, dark, calm, and handsome. It was love at first sight for him. Chuka walked up to Isni and said, "I'm so sorry for stopping you like this, but I saw you in the choir while you were ministering, and I don't know. I just felt something toward you. I felt attracted to you, and I heard the Spirit immediately tell me that you're my wife. You're so beautiful. My name is Chuka, and I would like to get to know you better," Chuka said, smiling. By this time, Isni was blushing like a fish. She was so shy. Then she responded, "Nice to meet you, sir." They started talking, spending hours on the phone, in church, and even hanging out secretly so her stepmother wouldn't see them. One evening, while they were taking a stroll, Isni opened up to Chuka. "Chuka, if my stepmother finds out you're rich, she'll chase you away. She'll poison your mind against me. She's done that to more than 12 of my suitors. She'll say all sorts of nonsense about me. She doesn't want me to marry before her daughter. Or better still, she doesn't want me to marry at all. She wants me to stay in that house with her and serve her all the days of my life. She has sent away all the men who have come for me in the past," Isni said, looking very sad. Chuka replied, "Okay, But what do we do? I'll have to see your family at some point. So what do we do? Isni looked at him and said, maybe you could pretend to be poor. Dress like a mechanic. Talk like someone who's struggling. Drive an old car. Maybe a bicycle. Let my stepmother think you have nothing. When you come to ask for my hand in marriage, just dress like a poor person. And you'll see, she'll gladly give me away because she doesn't want anything good for me. Chuka laughed and said, are you sure? Will that work? Are you okay with that? Because it means I won't be able to throw a big wedding for you. If I'm poor, I'll have to pretend to be poor until after our marriage. Isni replied, yes, sir, I'm okay with it. Please, I just want peace, and I want to marry the man I love. I want to spend the rest of my life with you. If the only sacrifice I have to make is forfeiting a big wedding, then so be it. Chuka smiled and said, okay, all right, we can do this. Isni, let's play this game together. Let's trick your stepmother. So, the first day Chuka came to the house, he wore a faded shirt, rubber slippers, and carried a nylon bag with bread and groundnuts inside. He greeted Iyabo, sounding timid and afraid. Good morning, Ma, Chuka said. Iyabo looked him up and down, covering her nose, and said, who are you, and who did you come to see? Did you miss your way? Do you know where you are? Chuka responded, no, Ma, I did not miss my way. I came to see Isni. I love her. I want to marry her. I want her to be my wife. Iyabo burst into laughter. Hey, come and see the mechanic your sister brought home. Look at his slippers. Will this one be able to afford 3 square meals? 1 square meal. Even to go and bring somebody from the gutter to marry wonders shall never end, she said, laughing. But Isni stood there calmly, pretending to be embarrassed. Mommy Iyabo, please don't insult him. I love him. I don't care what he does for a living. I'll support him. I just want to marry him, Isni said. For the first time ever, Iyabo did not try to poison Chuka's mind against marrying her stepdaughter. She didn't call him aside to say horrible things about Isni because this was the kind of person she wanted Isni to marry, a pauper, a poor man who would struggle to feed her, even when her husband, Chief Adewale, objected to his daughter marrying such a poor man. Iyabo made it her mission to convince him to let her marry Chuka. So that was how Chuka and Isni got married quietly, without any celebration, just family blessings. Because Chuka was too poor to afford a proper wedding, all he did was pay the bride price. Iyabo was thrilled to see her stepdaughter end up with a poor mechanic. Iyabo and her daughter, Adan, sat for hours gossiping and laughing about the kind of man Isni had married and how she had ruined her life by marrying a poor man. The day after the wedding, Chuka took Isni to his house, a beautiful mansion. As soon as Isni stepped out of the car and saw the house, she froze. Where are we? Isni asked, looking shocked. Chuka smiled and said, it's our home. Your home, baby. It's ours, Chuka replied proudly. Isni couldn't believe it. She screamed and ran to hug him tightly. Wow, so you mean this is your house? This is your house. And this is mine as well. I'm the madam of this house. My goodness, if my stepmother sees this, she'll faint. She'll be in a coma for 3 weeks, Isni replied excitedly. Just like that, Isni and her husband began to live happily ever after. Chuka was the perfect husband. He loved and pampered her silly, giving her money, gifts, and spending quality time with her, telling her all the sweet nonsense young women love to hear. But a few weeks later, Iyabo found out what Isni and her husband had done, how they tricked her into believing Chuka was poor when, in fact, he was the richest man who had come to ask for Isni's hand in marriage. Iyabo nearly ran mad. What? This girl lied to me. This girl deceived me. She pretended Chuka was poor so I wouldn't stop the marriage. I'll deal with this girl. She won't know what hit her. By the time I'm done with her, this rat, this small girl who played me hard, Iyabo fumed in anger. But it was too late. Isni had escaped. She had married the man of her dreams, who loved and pampered her silly. Even though Isni thought she had escaped her wicked stepmother, she didn't know that Iyabo was planning something sinister, a plan that would haunt her every single night. Chuka continued to love and adore his wife. He would come home early from work just to help her peel yams in the kitchen. He would play with her, make her laugh all day. Isni had never known this kind of gentleness. They were so happy they laughed, danced, and prayed together. Every night, Isni would curl up in Chuka's arms and thank God for giving her a wonderful husband. Then, out of the blue, one Tuesday morning, Isni received a visitor. It was Iyabo, her stepmother. She arrived at their gates with a basket of oranges and a fake smile plastered on her face. As soon as she saw Isni, she said, my daughter, I didn't come to fight. I just came to ask for your forgiveness. Please. I know I was hard on you. I didn't want to lose my husband's love to another woman's child. I was scared, but now I know better. That's why I've come to beg for your forgiveness. It's not fair that you should enter marriage without a mother figure to advise and guide you. So please, find a place in your heart to forgive me. I'd love to become a real mother to you, Iyabo said sadly. Isni stood there, unsure of what to do. She didn't know if Iyabo meant what she said, but the way Iyabo kept begging softened her heart. So she forgave her and welcomed her to stay for as long as she wished. Iyabo smiled and thanked her. But in her mind, she hissed, foolish girl, you think I came here to eat rice? Chicken. And smile. You don't know what's about to hit you, Iyabo thought. The moment Iyabo stepped inside the house, she became even more jealous, envious, and bitter. So this is the kind of big madam life this girl is enjoying. She's living like a queen. This girl deceived me. No, who gave her this sense? She tricked me. Meanwhile, my own daughter doesn't have a sensible man asking for her hand in marriage. Every day, that one is still eating rice and stew in my house, saying, "Thank you, Ma. If my daughter doesn't have a man, this one cannot have a man. I'll destroy this one. Before I'm done, I'll scatter this marriage," Iyabo thought to herself. That night, she lay awake, staring at the ceiling of the guest room, unable to sleep, especially because she heard Aisni and Chuka laughing in their bedroom. She hated that Aisni was so happy. One morning, Aisni decided to go to the market to buy things for the house. She told her stepmother she was going out, and Iyabo replied, "Okay, my daughter, please take your time." Smiling like a fish, as soon as Aisni left and Iyabo heard the gates close, she got a charm from her bag, sneaked into the couple's matrimonial room, and opened the bedroom door slowly. She walked in with the charm, brought it out, and spoke to it, calling Aisni's name. "You will know no rest. Your bed will betray you. Your marriage will stink of shame. Let the urine flow and flow and flow." Iyabo cursed Aisni, placed the charm gently under the bed, arranged the bed back, smiled, and left the room. A few hours later, Aisni returned, smiling and sweating, with tomatoes, onions, and all sorts of foodstuffs in her basket. As soon as Iyabo saw her, she welcomed her warmly, saying, "Aisni, you're back. You're such a hard-working wife. Welcome back. Let me help you," Iyabo said. Smiling, Aisni replied, "Thank you, Mommy Iyabo. You've really changed. You're so nice." Iyabo laughed and said, "My dear, I made a mistake. I'm just trying to correct what I've done. I just want peace now. I want to be a mother to you." Later that evening, Iyabo came up with an excuse to go back home. She thanked Aisni profusely for welcoming her back and forgiving her, then packed her bags and left. Her mission had been accomplished. The next morning, Aisni woke up drenched. The whole bed was wet, even the floor, and her thighs were dripping. "Jesus!" Aisni screamed as she jumped out of bed. "What is this? What is this?" she said, looking frightened. Chuka sat up immediately and said, "Babe, are you okay? Did you spill something? What's wrong?" Aisni replied, looking ashamed. I think I urinated on the bed. I wet the bed." "Are you sure? Maybe it's something else. Maybe water poured in the room or something?" Chuka replied. But he was sure she had urinated on the bed. She changed the bed sheet. But the next night, it happened again, and again, and again. By the fifth day, Aisni broke down. She couldn't sleep anymore. She would stay awake until 2:00 a.m., go to the toilet more than 5 times, and lie down carefully. Yet, when she woke up, the whole place would be wet and soaked. Initially, her husband, Chuka, tried to stay calm. He told her, "Don't worry. Maybe it's your hormones or something. Just calm down. Maybe you're stressed. That's probably the reason for all this," Chuka said, trying to be supportive. But by the 3rd week, he started getting frustrated. He began sleeping at the edge of the bed, fearing her urine would reach him. He stopped touching her at night. He was getting irritated. How could a grown woman be urinating on her matrimonial bed? Aisni was sad. She cried in the bathroom every day. She even stopped drinking water after 4:00 p.m. to avoid urinating at night. She went to the hospital, and the doctor ran all sorts of tests. Everything came back normal. Yet she was still bedwetting. One evening, Aisni decided to visit her stepmother. She met Iyabo in the parlor, peeling groundnuts. When Aisni walked in, it was clear she had been crying for days. She stared at Iyabo and said, "I think my husband is tired of me. I don't know what happened. I just started urinating on myself. I started bedwetting. I can't control it. And now my husband is tired of me. I don't know where else to turn. I've gone to the hospital, and the doctor said there's nothing wrong with me. I don't know who else to confide in. So I came to you. You're now my mother. Do you know any herbalist? Any treatment? Anything? I have no one else to turn to." Iyabo tried to comfort her. "It's okay, my dear. Sometimes life happens." Then she advised her, saying, "My daughter, don't mind your husband. Men don't have patience. They're all the same, especially the rich ones. I'd say you should come back home for a while. Clear your head. You don't want your husband to see you as desperate. Does your husband know who your father is? You're not from a poor family. Don't let that man treat you anyhow. Now that he's supposed to be by your side, he's avoiding you. My dear, come back to your father's house. You don't need him." "What exactly does he have?" Iyabo said, trying to poison her stepdaughter's mind and scatter her marriage. Aisni didn't know what to do, but she went back to her matrimonial home and pondered Iyabo's words for days while she continued to bedwet. Things got worse because her husband began keeping late nights and seeing other women. Aisni found out and began to weep profusely. That night, she knelt on the floor of the bedroom, weeping. "God, please help me. This shame is too much. I don't know what I did wrong. Why am I bedwetting? Mommy, if you can hear me, help me. Please." Aisni cried out to her late mother. She dozed off and had a dream where her late mother, spoke to her. Her mother stared at her and said, "My child, the problem is under your bed. You forgave too easily. You trusted too quickly. It was your stepmother who did this to you. Go and get that charm and burn it." Aisni woke up immediately from the dream. She raised her mattress but didn't see anything at first. Then she searched again and found the charm by the corner of the bed. She was shocked and screamed. She called out to Chuka, who no longer slept in the same room with her because it usually smelled of urine. He rushed in and was shocked to see the charm. Aisni narrated the dream, and they realized it had been her stepmother all along who was behind her bedwetting for months. Aisni broke down in tears. "What did I ever do to this woman? She told me she came to beg for my forgiveness. I didn't know she came to charm me to scatter my marriage," Aisni said, crying. She took the charm, spoke over it, and said, "Now I declare, back to sender. Let my stepmother and stepsister begin to urinate on themselves day and night." Then Aisni burned the charm. For the first time in a long while, that night, Aisni slept dry and woke up dry. The next night, she was dry too. That was how her bedwetting stopped. Just like that. A few days later, something began to happen back at her stepmother's. Iyabo woke up and screamed her wrappers were soaked. She changed them, and 2 hours later, they were soaked again. She was bedwetting every single time morning, afternoon, and night. One day, while she was at a party, dancing, she didn't realize she had urinated on herself. People pointed and laughed. "See this woman? This old woman is urinating on herself. Wonders shall never end." Iyabo was so ashamed. Soon, her daughter, Adan, started experiencing the same thing, but hers was worse. Her bladder was leaking. She couldn't hold urine for more than 5 seconds. By this time, Adan had a rich suitor who liked her and had come to visit her one day. While they were talking, Adan peed on herself, and that was how the man broke up with her. He couldn't marry an adult who was wetting herself non-stop morning, afternoon, and night. Uncontrollably, Adan and her mother began to wet themselves non-stop. No man came near Adan again. Her friends avoided her, and she became a laughingstock. Just like that, both of them became isolated, alone, dirty, and mocked. They went to every hospital possible, but there was no cure. They even tried to go to Aisni's house to beg her, but Chuka had already given the gateman strict instructions never to let them in, or he would be fired. Meanwhile, Chuka apologized to Aisni for cheating on her during her downtime, and she forgave him. Aisni and Chuka's love grew stronger, and they lived happily ever after, even having 2 beautiful children. But Iyabo and Adan continued to urinate nonstop. Soon, Chief Adawale could no longer tolerate it, especially after hearing all that Iyabo had done to his daughter. He threw Iyabo and Adan out of his house, and they lived the rest of their days in a small room that was always soaked and smelling of urine. They couldn't keep a job because they were always leaking. They couldn't do business because nobody wanted to buy from them due to the smell. They had no choice but to resort to begging on the streets to feed themselves while going from one babalawo to another, looking for a solution. Hi, besties. It's your favorite storyteller. Thank you so much for watching my story till the end. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. First off, do you think Aisni was too trusting? How could someone be so wicked to you for years, then suddenly come to your gates with a sad story, crying and apologizing, and you let them back into your house just like that? Do you think she was gullible to believe Iyabo in the first place? Secondly, do you think people really change? If there's someone in your life you know is evil, has done so much to you in the past, do you think they can suddenly change because they gave their life to Christ or something happened to them? Do you think people really change? Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Finally, do you think Iyabo and Adan deserve the life they ended up with? They literally fell into the pit they dug for Aisni. Please share your thoughts in the comment section. Also, if you love what you saw, what are you waiting for? Click the Join Now button and become a member. Graduate from just being a subscriber to a member. Come and see the fun parts of Omalicha. There are several other perks too. I can't wait to see you on the inside. Please support your homegirl by subscribing to my channel, liking my videos, and sharing with your loved ones. Until I come your way again with more interesting stories. Bye!